Homeowners helping homeowners. The Jays on Rogers. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Beautiful summer day here in Toronto at Rogers Center. Been a great 4 days of baseball. Big crowds all weekend long. Yunel Escobar came to the Blue Jays on July 14, 2010. He has certainly stabilized the shortstop position. And earlier this morning, we talked to Alex Anthopoulos about the biggest improvement he's seen in Escobar's play.
I'd say from a defensive standpoint, we actually talked today, and this is the best I've ever seen him play defensively. Cleveland, he saved us a bunch of runs. He's as defensively sound as I've ever seen at shortstop, and he's getting better and better. And talking to him today, he gave Brian Butterfield a lot of credit with the work he's done, and Luis Rivera as well. Both of them have done great work with him, and I give Yunel credit for, he's been in the league a long time. He's a great defender. The fact that he's still willing to get better and willing to learn says a lot about him.
He's been a real anchor defensively in the middle of the field, but also at the plate. Now he's hitting third, taking over for Jose Bautista.
And he reached base safely 21 straight games and hit .345 over that average. He's taken command, I think, of that infield, especially in the middle of the diamond.
Yankees behind CC Sabathia won yesterday 4-1. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. The lineups are brought to you by TD Canada Trust. Banking can be this comfortable. Brett Gardner back to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson, Mark Teixeira. Teixeira's the DH. Dave Robinson, Cano, Nick Swisher, middle of the order. Jorge Posada playing first base. Russell Martin, Eduardo Nunez, and Ramiro Pena starts at third base. They are set to take on Carlos Villanueva.
Villanueva out to the mound for his 10th start of the season. And he has put up some good numbers. 13 relief appearances to start the year, 10th start now, and what a stabilizer in that starting rotation for Villanueva. He made his first start of the season this year. That was on May the 23rd against these Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Allowed just 1 run, 2 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. Built up his arm strength, and boy, he has really been something for the Blue Jays.
There's a curveball, and he jumps ahead. 0-2. Last time out, Villanueva went up against the Cleveland Indians. Had a little bit of a rocky start, but sorted things out and gave the Blue Jays 6 strong innings.
I think he actually finished on a high note in that game. 6 hits. He had a career high 7 strikeouts in 6 shutout innings against Cleveland.
Gardner gets a piece of it and stays alive.
Should have won the ball game, but that was the game where they led big late in the game, and the bullpen coughed up a large lead. That was Villanueva's win.
Went into the 9th inning with a 4-0 lead, and the Indians stormed back on the strength of Travis Hafner's walk-off grand slam. Villanueva will really present a challenge to the Yankee hitters, not because he's overpowering, just because he commands so many pitches.
What we will be watching for, especially early in this ball game, is Villanueva's ability to get his curveball over, his changeup over in any counts, and then really pitch off of his fastball. When he does that, all his other pitches become that much more effective.
Tough pitch to lay off on, but it was a breaking ball back to the back foot, and Gardner did lay off.
It's a good sign when he is flipping that curveball in there for strikes, especially early in the count. Give those Yankee hitters a little something extra to think about.
Inside, 2-2.
Gardner has been a hot hitter for the New York Yankees. 10 games against Toronto. He's hitting over 400. He's also had 7 walks. He was one of only 2 Yankees to get hit off of Villanueva in that start we were talking about.
But Gardner's doing a good job in that leadoff spot, and he's spoiling a lot of good pitches here to start the ball game.
He is always among the league leaders in pitches per plate appearance. Doing it again here now. 7 pitches already for the leadoff batter.
It's the 24th time he's hit top of the order. Derek Jeter does it most of the time. Jeter's getting the day off. 2-2. Leadoff base hit for Brett Gardner. Good at bat for the Yankees.
Defensively behind Carlos Villanueva, you're going to have to be on your toes because he throws a lot of strikes, and they've played good defense. Snyder, Davis, and Corey Patterson back out in right field this afternoon. Encarnacion, the third baseman, Escobar Hill, and Lynn will form the infield. Aaron Sebia behind the plate, and Edwin Encarnacion the other day made 4 or 5 outstanding plays at third base.
One against Russell Martin, one of the best defensive plays we've seen all season long. Curtis Granderson pulls back from an inside pitch. Granderson was the DH in yesterday's game. He returns to center field. Ball on a strike. Villanueva with his start today has established a new career high in games started. His 10th start for the Blue Jays. The previous high was 9. He did that with Milwaukee in 2008. He appeared in 47 games overall for the Brewers that year. One and 2. Yankees get their leadoff guy on. One thing that has really played in the Blue Jays' favor in this series, keeping the Yankees off the scoreboard early. Blue Jays took a lead in game 1, scoring 8 runs in the first off Bartolo Colon. Scored a run off Freddie Garcia in the first inning in game 2.
It's one of the things that the Yankees do. They club you early and get that big lead and then hold on. When they score first, they are 30 games over 500 when Joe Girardi's team gets on the board first.
Yankees don't have the dominant starting pitching we've grown to become used to. It's not quite as shut down as it has been in the past. Many people believe that today's starter, Phil Hughes, is the key to their success in the second half.
They have good arms in Sabathia and Burnett, people who've been around the block a few times, Colon and Garcia, the other two veterans.
There goes Gardner. Cut on and missed. Aaron Sebia from his knees, not nearly in time.
As Granderson makes his way back to the dugout, the scouting report today is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. For Carlos Villanueva. He is a prepared pitcher. He really studies the scouting reports and watches the film of his opposition, so he is very prepared when he takes the mound. I think he needs to throw his off-speed pitch when he is behind. He's got a good changeup and a good curveball. Keeps these Yankee batters off balance and back and forth. That's where he needs to go also. Take a little on, put a little off, go back and forth with him. He really knows how to pitch.
Mark Teixeira, the DH here this afternoon. Pitch is upstairs. With that steal of second, Brett Gardner has now stolen 11 straight. And he's up to 25 for the season. Terrific asset, top of the order with speed.
Well, he gives you good at bats. You saw the pitches that he saw when he was hitting, and then ends up with a base hit. For his career, he steals at an 82% clip, which is excellent. 70 to 75 is very good. He's just so quick.
Anytime you get up over 75%, then you really are having a positive impact on your team's ability to score runs. Ball and a strike. Blue Jays have pitched Teixeira tough in this series. Just 2 for 13 in the first 3 games of this series.
The power numbers are there for Mark Teixeira when you look at his 25 home runs and his 66 runs driven in. Looking for a little bit more on the batting average.
Teixeira for his career against the Blue Jays hit .293. And he also has connected for 26 home runs, but the last week it's been a battle for him. We've talked about this in the past. You as a hitter, how are you affected by a base runner like Gardner at second, bouncing off, trying to get a big lead at second? Is that a distraction for Teixeira?
No, not for an RBI man like Mark Teixeira. In fact, I don't think he would mind if he would go ahead and try and steal third base because he's so adept at stealing bases. Teixeira's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, so he'll go ahead and take the walk.
Two on, 1 out, and we'll take a look at Carlos Villanueva as a starter. His first 9 starts this season been very impressive. Pat mentioned his last start against Cleveland. He had a chance to pick up his 5th win.
Very good ERA. He'll give you innings when you watch him. He's always good for about 6 innings as he built up his arm strength. The team is 6-3 in his starts. And again, his first start was against the Yankees this year, and he ended up beating them in Yankee Stadium.
Robinson Cano. Base hit, right field, right to Corey Patterson. Gardner is getting the stop sign at third, and a strong throw from Patterson. Boy, Robinson Cano, very aggressive, goes after the first pitch, and the bases are loaded with just 1 out.
He has had 39 games in the number 4 hole as Robinson Cano since A-Rod has been hurt the last couple of years. This time doesn't waste any time picking on that first pitch. He hits it so hard, the great speed of Gardner can't score. It's right at Patterson. You don't want to run into an out. He's had 33 RBIs in those 39 games. And there was a time when he first came up hitting with runners in scoring position. The numbers weren't there, and people were wondering if he could hit in an RBI spot. Well, he has answered that.
Nick Swisher, the switch hitter, bats left-handed against Villanueva. A little bit like last start for Villanueva, having trouble in the first inning, just zeroing in on that strike zone.
Making it a little bit tougher is the Yankees. Each one of these hitters have gone up there except for Cano. taking a strike.
Fouled out of play, a ball and a strike in his last start against the Indians Thursday before the All-Star break. Villanueva gave up a leadoff base hit to Michael Brantley, then got 2 outs, but walked Santana and Sizemore to load the bases. So he's in a similar situation here in the first against New York.
And he finds his way out of it because he can pitch.
Looper into the seats. And Seavy's going to talk about how they're going to try to finish off Nick Swisher. In that last game against Cleveland, they got Orlando Cabrera to fly out to right to strand 3 base runners. You know, he would love to be able to come up with a ground ball here and get out of this first inning. Gardner singled to start it, and then after the strikeout, Teixeira walked and Cano singled. Slider inside. 2-2. Line drive, base hit into right field. Gardner comes in to score, but Teixeira had to hold up to make sure that ball was in front of Corey Patterson, and the Yankees have scored first here this afternoon.
A good 2-strike hitting by a lot of these Yankees here so far in the first inning. You put a good approach at the plate like Nick Swisher does. Doesn't overstride. It's a pitch right in the middle of the plate. He just hits it into right field. Not a lot of movement. That's something that you will see from, or not see from, these Yankee hitters. They don't have a lot of extra movement. They're very sound fundamentally with their swings.
Jorge Posada playing at first base today, making his 5th start at first. He's always been productive with the bases loaded. First pitch breaking ball gets a hit. Posada got off to a slow start. Difficulty adjusting to a full-time DH role.
His batting average was down, but his production was there. You see 9 home runs in those 75 games. I think he hit 6 of them very early in the season. But that was about it.
Fastball just missed the inside corner. Posada has 231 at bats. For comparison's sake, Curtis Granderson, who plays every day, has 339 at bats, so he has been productive.
9 home runs, and he's tough in these situations here. He's a very good 2-strike off-speed hitter.
Good off-speed pitch he was out in front of. Another thing that plays into Villanueva's favor here is the fact that Posada has grounded into 9 double plays. Bases are loaded. Swisher at first with the RBI. Robinson Cano, a first pitch base hit, and Teixeira walked. A lot of pitches in the first inning for Villanueva. He's up to 28 pitches already, and this is what the Yankee lineup will do. They'll make you work.
Make you work, throw a lot of pitches, get a lot of information. Again, every one of them except for Cano, who was ready with the bases loaded. They've been taking a strike. You can just watch their approach.
Cano got a first pitch strike because of the walk to Teixeira. Changeup got him. Posada got a piece of it, but fouled it into the glove of the catcher. Second strikeout of the inning.
Back and forth, like we were talking about in the scouting report. That's what you have to do. As Villanueva throws an excellent 2-strike changeup to get a big out.
Russell Martin. Base is still loaded. Now there are 2 outs. Russell Martin did not play in the game yesterday as Francisco Cervelli caught CC Sabathia. Martins had big numbers against Villanueva. He's 4 for 7. Lines out to the shortstop. Villanueva minimizes the damage in the first. A strikeout and a line out. And the Yankees are held to 1 run. And Carlos Villanueva really minimized the impact. Bases loaded and 1 out. He got out of it, but without further damage. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They were shut down dramatically by CC Sabathia and Mariano Rivera yesterday. Rajai Davis, Eric Thames, and Yunel Escobar, top 3 in the order. Adam Lind is swinging a hot bat. Average up over 300. Edwin Encarnacion playing third base for the 2nd time in this series. Snyder, Hill, Arancibia, and the right fielder is Corey Patterson.
Today's starting pitcher is brought to you by Tim Hortons Original Biscuit Breakfast Sandwich. Now with Hickory Smoked Ham. Phil Hughes was an all-star in 2010 for New York. Got off to a horrible start this year and then spent 3 months on the disabled list with an arm problem. An encouraging outing in his first start off the DL. He really looks to overcome his recent troubles against Toronto, earn his first win of the season. There are his 4-start numbers. He won 18 games last year for New York.
His story is not dissimilar from that of Brett Cecil's. Cecil was a 15-game winner for the Blue Jays and started off very slow. Lost the velocity that he had last year. Phil Hughes has dealt with the same issues.
And it's been a mystery. Just as it is a mystery with Brett Cecil in the Toronto Blue Jays, Phil Hughes on the other side. Is it a tired arm? Is it a sore arm? And he says no to each one of those. Just wasn't throwing as hard as he did last year.
In his first 3 games, Phil Hughes went a total of 10 1/3 innings and gave up 16 earned runs. Detroit, Boston, Baltimore, the opponents. But Phil Hughes, as we mentioned, and many of the Yankee people in uniform and otherwise believe that he is holding the key to their success in the second half.
If he can give them innings as a starter, and he certainly did that last year for New York with those 18 wins and went deep into the game.
Rajai Davis fouls it straight back.
You know, then you have someone to team with Sabathia and Burnett at the top of the lineup, Colon and Garcia. We saw them in this series, veterans who've been through it and then still know how to pitch into the dog days of the summer.
This is popped up. Eduardo Nunez, the shortstop, calling for it. 1 out.
Defensively for the Yankees this afternoon, they made the first couple of errors in the first 2 games. The first time they've had back-to-back games with errors. First time since June, but very good yesterday. Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher. Jorge Posada over at first base. This is his 4th start over there as they get to share a half a day off with Pena and Nunez, the 2 youngsters on the left side. And there is Jorge Posada over at first base.
Posada making his 5th start of the season at first, his 20th in his career. Eric Thames falls behind 0-2. Strike 3 call, backdoor breaking ball, a 3-pitch strikeout for Phil Hughes.
He possesses a very good curveball. And that time he throws it on the outside part of the plate. Eric Thames gives up on it, and it just clips that outside edge for his first strikeout.
So 2 quick outs for Phil Hughes. And Yunel Escobar hitting in the 3rd spot in this lineup. Fastball down, stings. Escobar has been batting 3rd since Jose Bautista sprained his ankle in the opener of this series on Thursday night. Cut fastball sails off the plate. Good numbers for Escobar across the board. 298 average, 35 driven in, an OPS of 817.
Add that to that on base percentage that Escobar has, and you can see why they want him at the top of the lineup. His on base percentage is .375. Excellent. Sees a lot of pitches, doesn't strike out a lot. When you look at his numbers.
Drives this into center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Escobar swinging a hot bat. That'll get him up close to 300. He has reached base now in 22 straight games, reflecting his ability with the bat and his strike zone awareness.
Yeah, that good on base percentage. Takes a 2-1 pitch from Hughes and bangs it right back through the middle. .345 over those 21 consecutive games that he has reached base, and on base percentage over that period of .415.
Adam Lynn hitting over 300 and had a pair of hits in yesterday's game. The Blue Jays had just 5 hits. CC Sabathia held him to 3 over his 8 innings, and then the Blue Jays got a couple of hits against Mariano Rivera in the 9th. Blue Jays haven't homered in 3 straight games. Their final series against the Indians before the All-Star break, they had 5 home runs in 4 games. But this is over a calendar year now. They have gone where they haven't had 3 straight without a homer. It's the first time since last July.
Well, what's good about that is they are showing that they don't have to hit home runs to score runs. And that's one of the things that John Farrell has set out this year, to not rely so much on the home run. Let's try and manufacture some runs, use our speed, hit and run just a little bit more. And when you need the home run, they still have some guys who can knock it out of the ballpark.
They scored 16 runs with 20 hits on Thursday night and didn't homer in that game. Now with the recall of Travis Snyder and his left-handed bat, the lineup is a lot lengthier. They have done it in a different fashion this year. You compare last year's season through 95 games to what they've done in 2011.
Wins and losses about the same, ERA about the same, batting average about the same. But here's the difference between the 2010 and 2011 teams offensively. Homering a lot less, 36 home runs less, but they're stealing more bases.
Escobar on the move with the full count, hopped out of play. Now, the stolen bases really played well into the offensive philosophy that John Farrell wanted to implement. He called it initially an uncomfortable offense, one where the pitcher's a little bit concerned. We've seen many pitchers distracted by base runners.
Let's be honest, they were not going to hit 250-something home runs again. I mean, those are the kind of years that everything just comes together.
Fly ball in right. Swisher's got a beat on it now, and Lynn's retired. Hughes strands a base runner in the first. The Yankees have taken an early lead. We're going to look back to last night. Casey Jansen's getting closer and closer to coming back with the Blue Jays.
He certainly is. I think he's going to force their hand. He's scheduled to pitch again today. They want him to go back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, a couple of strikeouts yesterday, and then they will decide after today's game how to get him back onto the roster, probably starting on Tuesday. Travis d'Arnaud just keeps hitting in July nearly 500. Nestor Molina, another pitcher, the last 5, very good average. That last player on that list there, Brett Laurie, maybe they need to get him up here very quickly.
Look what he did last night. He was hit by a pitch twice, including the left hand, the hand that was injured earlier. Escobar scoops it up and throws out Nunez first out of the second. But Brett Laurie played in Dunedin last night. He started a double play, playing at third base, and he's wearing a protective batting glove on his left hand.
He got hit in his left arm, and then he got hit in that left hand. It's that retrofit, I guess you would say it. Like Jeff Bagwell made it popular when he got hit on the hand a couple of times and broke a bone in his hand. It's a protective sheath that they put over the hand. So he will play in Dunedin through the weekend, and they hope to move him up to Las Vegas and just get his feet under him.
Romeo Pena takes his strike. Pena starting at third base today. Just 13 games. He started in the minor leagues. But Brett Laurie, we're going to keep an eye on him, obviously. And you saw all 4 of those players on the farm report. And if you think Travis d'Arnaud, we just forget to take him out of the farm report every night. No, that's how hot he's been. He just keeps rolling along. Nestor Molina is an interesting pitcher. Molina is a converted outfielder, third baseman with a strong arm. But one thing that's impressed is he doesn't walk anybody. Got good control. High fly ball, but Corey Patterson has plenty of room. Oh, he was battling that sun the whole way. It is a bright, hazy day here with the roof open, and he played it off to the side to get a good angle on that fly ball.
That is what Corey Patterson is looking up to. He's got the shades down, playing it off to the side. It's a lot easier to play it off to the side as you watch that ball come back down.
Always a challenge when you have a high sky, no clouds to give you any depth perception whatsoever. So it's really a matter of concentration and focus. Back to the top of the order, Brett Gardner. Singleton scored. Average up to 282. I mean, he wasn't hitting a thing when we saw him in April.
There was a 1. Was the first number, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 1. It was on the interstate. I-79.
No, he's going to be a weapon, I think, for a long time for the New York Yankees. The way he is, he can see a lot of pitches per plate appearance. I don't think he'll have the type of power, but you never know with Kevin Long, their hitting coach. The type of power that we've seen now from Jacoby Ellsbury, but they're very similar type players.
It's a different stroke. Brett Gardner's stroke is very short and choppy, where Ellsbury has a lot more fluid finish to it. Like he can generate bat speed almost after contact.
13 home runs now for Ellsbury. He hit another one last night. Different types of leadoff hitters, but both getting the job done in different ways.
And speaking of Ellsbury, how about his partner Dustin Pedroia? 6 home runs in his last 8 games. Right on the corner. 2 outs. We're in the second inning. Yankees scored a single run in the first, but Villanueva stranded the bases loaded. Changeup, line to Escobar. Second time that Escobar has corralled a line drive. Edwin Encarnacion will start things off. Travis Snyder has been a hot hitter since he's rejoined the Jays, and Aaron Hill. Roof in the Blue Jays bullpen has been closed. You can see they have manufactured a little bit of shade down there as they got that tarp stretched over. And you can see this is generally out in the sunshine, but today it's so hot and the sun's beating down that they have improvised.
Nothing wrong with that. Sitting back in that runway now underneath the stands.
34 degrees here this afternoon, and it is a hot Sunday afternoon. Oh, it's been a spectacular weekend. A lot of Yankee fans in town for all 4 games. Blue Jays trying to win the series. They're up 2-1. Phil Hughes trying to recapture the form he had a year ago. First half of the season, he was dominant. He was 11-2 in the first half of the season with a 3.65 ERA. The league caught up to him a bit in the second half when he went 7-6. It's driven to center field and deep. Swisher, Granderson not going to get it. It bounces off the wall, stays in the ballpark. Edwin Encarnacion continues to be a doubles machine, his 21st double of the season.
And that leads the team. And his doubles have come a variety of different ways. He'll pull him down the left field line. He'll go to the gap in left center field. And every now and then he'll go to right center field. Enough power to drive the ball between Granderson and Swisher in right field. The ballpark holds it as it bounces off the top of the wall. Good start here in the second for the Jays.
Leadoff double. Travis Snyder. Breaking ball, strike. Snyder's hit .381 since he's been recalled from the minor leagues. That's boosted his average to .248.
Talked to him a little bit today about what Mr. Hughes is going to be featuring, and he went through a whole laundry list of pitches. The fastball, the curveball, he'll cut the ball on him. And I asked him about the velocity that we've been talking about. He said, I'm going to go in and look at his last start out on the mound and see what the velocity says and then make adjustments to that. How nice is that to be able to just pull up the guy's last start and get a good scouting report on him?
Line drive left field. That's a base hit. Encarnacion's getting in the way. Gardner's got a strong arm, but it's not going to be in time, and Snyder has tied it up with an RBI single to left.
You know, the last thing he said to me was, the Yankees like to throw me high strikes when I get 2 strikes on me. They like to try and climb the ladder. I said, well, you're doing a better job of taking it. But he's ready for it. Watch the catcher. He wants the ball up. It's up, and he stays on top of it. That's the new and improved Travis Snyder right there. The ability to get the bat on the ball when the pitch is up in the strike zone like that and hit it the other way to pick up an RBI.
Coming into this game, Travis hit .355 against the Yankees for his career. He drives in Encarnacion. It's a 1-1 ball game. Snyder has 7 steals in 9 attempts. And a stolen base in this series. Hit and run was on, and Hill fouls it out of play. Blue Jays want to play up tempo. You can't sit back and slug with the Yankees. Nope. You just have to force the offense, and that's what Farrell's doing by starting Snyder.
You know, they also have 3 new players on the infield this afternoon, so put a little pressure on them. Posada with just his 5th start this year at first base. You've got Nunez with 12 errors at shortstop. He's been playing third, and Pena, who is normally a shortstop, is playing third base. I think you have to put pressure on him.
I think you're right, and Pena has really had problems playing defensively this year. He had a free air game playing at third during interleague play against the Reds. And Nunez, we've seen him kick it around in this series. They have played much better in the past than they are playing right now. This guy, don't worry about his defense. Robinson Cano is a Gold Glover.
Don't hit it to him. But the other ones, Nunez is a very good shortstop. He just has had trouble throwing the ball across the diamond in this series.
Popped it up. Shortstop Nunez calling for it. Gardner's charging in. Nunez gets out of the way, and the left fielder makes the catch. 1 out. Now you go back and you look at Phil Hughes in his first 13 games a year ago, an astounding record in a .224 bonus batting average. But boy, in his last 20 starts, it's been a totally different story.
Yeah, the velocity is down. The pitch has been up in the strike zone. Opponents hitting .281 against Phil Hughes. He's young, and there's been all kind of questions of why is the velocity down? Are you injured? Is it because you had the career high in innings pitched last year? 176 innings last year. You were a reliever the year before. Remember, 2 years ago, he was the 8th inning setup man for Mariano Rivera, and he was outstanding in that role.
2009, he had 86 innings of work, but it was generally a 1-inning situation where he'd come and just blow that fastball. But it was 96-97. Right. We've not seen that velocity since.
He had 96 strikeouts in 86 innings as a setup man.
In his last start against Cleveland, he came on the 6th of July. Phil Hughes went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, threw 87 pitches, and didn't have a swing and a miss during the entire 5 innings. This is a guy that, as you mentioned, was a strikeout pitcher.
I certainly know that strikeouts can be overrated, but we'll see. The scouting report on Phil Hughes, the velocity issues, we've been talking about that. He has 4 different pitches: fastball, curveball, the cutter, and a changeup, but I think the key for him is that excellent curveball. When he's dropping it in for strikes, it just makes everything else that he has that much tougher. But again, strikeouts can be overrated at times, especially if you're a starter as you're trying to get through 6, 7, 8 innings. Pitching to contact, keeping the ball on the ground, more important than all the strikeouts.
What a jump. No contest as Travis Snyder had a running start at first. Picks up his 8th steal. We mentioned the Blue Jays are going to force the offense.
They tried to hit and run with Aaron Hill, and if that doesn't work, how about this steal?
It's the biggest jump I've ever seen. He was 30 feet off the base before Hughes picked up his foot. Another runner in scoring position for the Blue Jays. J.P. Arencibia 0 for 3 in yesterday's game. Came into that ball game with a 4-game hit streak. Just got to start another one here this afternoon.
They certainly have stayed away from J.P. Arencibia in this at bat. Look at that. Everything. Try to make Arencibia reach for everything.
Throw him an off-speed pitch and get the strikeout, the second strikeout for Phil Hughes.
There is that excellent curveball that we were talking about. He used it to get Eric Thames in the first inning, and he now uses it against J.P. Arencibia to get a big out.
Corey Patterson batting 9th. Have to try to deliver here with Snyder at second. Patterson's gone through a real rough stretch of late. Some of that has to do with his inconsistent at bats since Eric Thames has joined the team, and especially since Travis Snyder has been called back up. Another pop-up. Shortstop Nunez calling for it, and Patterson's retired. But the Blue Jays come through. A leadoff double by Encarnacion, an RBI single by Travis Snyder. It's a 1-1 game. Looking and see if he can see Patterson. It is smoking hot here on the field at Rogers Center. When you look at it, 34 degrees, 35 degrees Celsius. The umbrella's out just to get some shade.
Good day to get a tan.
Perfect way to get a tan. 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a hot day here. Curtis Granderson, a strikeout victim, his first time up.
Granderson doesn't look like a home run hitter. A lot of his home runs are fly balls with a good approach. Since last August, only Jose Bautista of the Blue Jays has hit more home runs than Curtis Granderson.
That's a good curve down.
And that speaks to the great fundamentals that he has in his swing. So balanced. You can see he hits from a little bit more of a crouch in a wide stance. His balance is so much better than when he first started.
Granderson had a 30 home run season his final year in Detroit with the Tigers. 2009, he had 249, but he hit 30 home runs. One of the most interesting offensive seasons in recent history. Curtis Granderson was responsible for that in 2007 with the Tigers. He hit .302 with 38 doubles, 23 triples, and 23 home runs. Changeup gets in here as Villanueva gets the strikeout to start the third inning.
Yeah, and he had a whole lot of strikeouts. Led the American League at one time. That has been cut down, but he's still trying to figure out right now. Carlos Villanueva pulls a string one more time on a changeup down and away and gets Granderson for the second time.
Mark Teixeira always forces the Blue Jays into a dramatic shift as left-handed batter. They shift the infielders, almost four infielders on the right side of second. You can see Encarnacion basically straight away.
You know, if you want to throw in the pitcher after he lets go of the ball, he's a fielder too. They're talking 5 infielders on the right side of the diamond.
Now, why wouldn't Teixeira bunt in this situation?
Why wouldn't he? He's in the lineup to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah. But there's a double waiting to happen right there.
Just punch it that way.
But you're right, he's a run producer, and that's what he's up there to do. Knock it out of the ballpark. 25 homers with 66 driven in.
Right now hitting 43 points below his career average. I'm just waiting for another one of those hot streaks to happen for him, which you know will. He is paid to hit the ball out of the ballpark, drive in runs.
Goes upstairs with that fastball. We have watched Villanueva and how he utilizes that 91-mile-an-hour fastball. He elevates it. It looks 94, 95 after a series of curveballs and changeups.
And all of a sudden, as a hitter, he changes speeds and eye length. And it looks like it's about 95. That one backed up on him. He wanted the ball down, but that high fastball, the last pitch, got the eye level up, and he was able to get away with a hanging pitch to pick up his 4th strikeout.
See, target by the catcher was meant to be down and in. He missed up and away, but not all mistakes are hit out of the ballpark. 2 outs. Robinson Cano. First pitch swinging, gets a slow curveball. Cano got a base hit to right on the first pitch fastball in his first at bat. There's certain guys that I would pay to see hit, and this is one of them. Certainly. Fluid swing. He's got power. He handles tough pitchers. He hits left-handers. He's got one of those pretty swings.
When you've got a tough pitcher out there, he's able to flip the ball to left field to keep at bats alive and pick up base hits. You make a mistake and you can drive it out of the ballpark. Whoa! Speaking of mistakes,
just a little high. We mentioned how hot it is, and sometimes the grip becomes a challenge. That ball had a lot of carry on it.
The Rosenbag might be the MVP this afternoon.
Yeah, that perspiration runs down a pitcher's forearm and gets into the palm of your hand, and sometimes you lose the grip. Cano is late on that fastball. And it's always a challenge. You played on hot summer days. Your uniform gets soaking wet, and there are no dry spots to wipe your hands on.
Watch the hitters all afternoon. take their helmet off while they're hitting. If there's an extended at bat, the sweat starts pouring down into your eyes, and you've got to wipe off just to be able to see the ball.
One and two. Fights off another fastball. Obviously, hydration is a concern for the athletic training staff. George Boulis and Hap Hudson certainly informed their players. And we talked to Hudson about the Eric Thames situation 2 nights ago when he had a cramp in his left leg and had to leave the game. The hydration process takes place about 3.5 to 4 hours before the game ever starts. Hot shot. And he stays with it, and he'll go to the bag and beat Cano. 8 straight retired by Carlos Villanueva. It's a 1-1 game. Nation's most talented performers. Auditions are being held in Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal, and Halifax. Canada'sGotTalent.com has all the date and location information. We're looking for acts of all ages. Sign up. Show up for Canada's Got Talent. First pitch, strike to Rajai Davis. Davis popped up to the shortstop his first time. Jamie Campbell had that update with Lance Berkman hitting on the home run. And how about Chris Carpenter? He beat the Reds Saturday to improve to 11-1 against Cincinnati over the last 3 years. You talk about dominating a team.
In your division, those two have been going at each other for the last couple of years, the Reds and the Cardinals. The only other pitcher to have double-digit wins against any big league team since 2009, CC Sabathia. He's got 11 against Baltimore.
Right off the end of the bat. Baltimore snapped a long losing streak last night, and Alfredo Simon pitched 7 innings for the Orioles. That's only the 15th game an Orioles starter has gone 7 innings or more. 15 games.
All season long. 15.
All season.
That's supposed to be their strength.
Pena at third base in time to get Davis. 1 out.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
USS Tabler over at Queens Key, harbored up.
I wish I could say that, because I'd be all over that after this game.
A perfect day for it. That ball is sliced into the seats by Eric Thames. We mentioned Thames had a cramping issue here 2 nights ago. He had worked out. He was the DH. Took a lot of work in the outfield prior to the game. Did a lot of treadmill work and then got dehydrated to the point where he cramped up during the game.
Saw Torey Lovullo around the batting cage today, and I go, what are you doing in here? You're usually out there working those outfielders. He said, I wanted to give him a day off. He said, Eric Thames has really worked hard to improve his defensive skills along with Travis Snyder, and he wanted to give them a day off to just save it and keep their energy for the game.
Now, there are certain days where you just bag all that pregame stuff. Blue Jays kept the roof at Skydome, dating myself, the roof at Rogers Center closed for most of the morning during batting practice because it was so hot. Thames strikes out, down and in, fastball, hit it. Third strikeout for Phil Hughes.
Good sequence there for Hughes to pick up the strikeout. He went backdoor curveball to get Eric Thames last time. He's going to punch him out by going inside this time. Just can't get the hands extended on that one.
The red hot Yunel Escobar with a single in his first at bat, up to 300 now for the season. Jose Bautista moved to third base 13 games ago, and of course he's not in the lineup now with that sprained ankle. But since Bautista went to third base, played next to Yunel Escobar, Escobar has hit .443.
And you would watch the two of them in between innings. They were always talking.
Bounced up the middle. Cano with the backhand. He's got a strong arm. Posada didn't find the bag. Umpire at first is waiting for the tag, and here now Angel Hernandez is going to call Escobar out. Posada was in front of the bag. Escobar had to go around the first baseman and missed the bag initially. Farrell out just in case he gets some signal from Lovullo that he should argue, but watch where Posada is here.
Yeah, not real sure of where the bag is. He catches it. Escobar, it looked like he got the bag, but no call from Angel Hernandez. That looks like he just clipped the outside part of the bag. Now, where he is standing, he can't tell if he got his toe on the bag, but right there, it looked like he just clipped it. No call, and then Posada figured out what he was doing and then tagged him out.
Never made an indication, safe or out, as Escobar got near the first base bag.
Throw takes Posada into the runner, and you see Escobar try to get around Posada. But then when there is no call, Posada gathers that he figures Escobar did not touch the bag. So goes over and makes the out himself.
Not much of a protest from Escobar or Torey Lovullo, the first base coach. Makes you think that Escobar missed the bag. But Angel Hernandez never offered a safe sign or an out sign because he didn't see Escobar step on the bag. Nick Swisher, RBI single in the first. He drove in the Yankee run. Line scores exactly the same. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors for both ball clubs. It's a base hit to left field.
From where the umpire is positioned, and he is positioned properly, tough to see if Escobar with his left foot just clips the outside part of the bag.
But you see how Escobar extends his toe just to signal that he's trying to scrape the top of that base. That probably made Hernandez believe that Escobar felt like he missed it.
And he did the right thing in not signaling anything. Safe or out. Posada picked up on it.
Posada struck out on a good changeup from Villanueva. Drives this ball to left. Travis Snyder has it measured and makes the pitch. Hit hard, but right at the left fielder.
The ball slicing back to Snyder, and he did the right thing. He got sideways on the ball and then got low, so he can adjust if that ball took off on him.
Do you like Snyder in left over right?
I like Snyder in left because he's a left-handed thrower, and usually the ball will tail or sail from a left-hander away from the runner on plays at the plate. I like right-handed throwing right fielders because that ball, if you miss on the throws to the plate, it's right into the runner.
Good point. 1 out, Russell Martin. Line drive, and that ball slicing away from Rajai Davis. It'll go all the way to the wall. Posada is headed around third. Swisher, excuse me, and he is going to score. Nick Swisher scores all the way from first base on the Russell Martin RBI double. The Yankees have retaken the lead.
Martin got off to a great start this year with the bat. Hit a lot of home runs early, had a high batting average. The batting average has come down, but the production is still there. 10 home runs, and this will be his 37th RBI as he splits the gap in right center field. By the time they run it down, Swisher can come all the way around from first base. It's turned out to be a great pickup for the Yankees.
Yeah, it was a roll of the dice, but given Martin's physical history last year or so, he had knee surgery prior to spring training. Took him a while to get it going. First pitch, base hit. Martin gets the stop sign at third. Nunez delivers the base hit. That get-ahead fastball is something the Yankees like.
I think they've picked up on it, that he will try and get ahead with that fastball and then tantalize you with his off-speed stuff, so they're swinging early. Nunez gets a fastball just 88 miles an hour up in the strike zone. Hits it hard to left field.
If there were a guy that I would suspect might bunt in this situation, it would be Pena. Even though he's a switch hitter batting left and you've got all that room in the right-handed hitter's batter's box, I think this might be a time where I'd be on guard.
Crying out for a safety squeeze. He's only hitting .087. Just 23 at bats for Pena, but he can handle the bat. He can bunt. All he has to do is just get it down on the ground and get it past Villanueva. Lynn, the first baseman, has to hold the runner on.
Many years when you and I first started playing, a play in this situation would be square around and bunt it past the pitcher right at the second baseman. You would guarantee yourself a run and stay out of a double play.
It's a free ribby for the hitter. Just get it down on the ground.
That'll do it. Pena hits it to center. Davis backs up. Martin tagging at third, and he'll come in to score, and Pena delivers the sac fly. It's 3-1 New York. Bottom of the order, having good at bats here in the fourth.
And picking on a first pitch early in the count to drive in that run as Pena drives in his second run of the season. Pitch that is up. And not wasting any time. Drives it in. Now Nunez can run over at first base with 2 outs and Gardner up. Wouldn't surprise me to see him take off at some point early in this count.
Perfect time to gamble. If he gets thrown out, you got the leadoff batter starting the 5th. If he steals it, you've got a good hitter with a runner in scoring position. I don't think it's a matter of if he's going to run. I think it's a matter of when he's going to run. 2 outs, it's 2 runs in. The percentages increase in the Yankees' favor every time Villanueva throws a ball.
Gets a little bit stronger and stronger. You can see DiPierre and Sebia thinking that they might try to steal.
He faked the break and Gardner showed bunt but pulls the bat back. It's 2-0.
Oh, it's been leaking up on Carlos Villanueva, so DiPierre and Sebia is going out there just to remind him, hey, let's get the ball down here.
He's been down, but he hasn't gotten the call. Nunez is chased back. Nunez 10 for 14, as Pat mentioned. He is a good base runner and a pretty good offensive player and a much better shortstop than we have seen play this year. He's kicked it around quite a bit.
And throwing the ball across the infield, so they have him back at shortstop, his more natural position this afternoon.
Not going. Base hit for Gardner. Nunez will stop at second. As Gardner delivers his second hit, the Yankees now have 6 hits.
Four hits in this inning as Gardner keeps it going. He has hit the ball hard 3 more times this afternoon in 4 innings. He lined out the shortstop for his only out. He'll be approaching 500 against the Blue Jays this year with that base hit.
Curtis Granderson has struck out twice this afternoon. 2 on, 2 outs. Way inside. Yankees have delivered with runners in scoring position. Breaking ball for a strike. Mentioned Gardner with 2 hits today. He is now 14 for 29, just under 500.
That was close.
Yeah.
He has done everything offensively. Stolen base, scoring runs, keeping innings going, getting hits with runners in scoring position.
Just inside with the fastball. 2-1. Gardner, for his career, came into this game as a .353 career hitter against the Blue Jays. A lot of at-bats. 121 at-bats now for Brett Gardner against Toronto. 2-1, 2 outs. Changeup catches the corner.
That has been the pitch that has given Curtis Granderson some trouble. His first 2 at-bats this afternoon. He has struck out both times on it. Just hasn't been able to pick up the release point from Villanueva yet.
Buried that breaking ball, and Granderson lays off. It's a full count, 2 outs. Nunez at second. He's singled. Brett Gardner had his second hit of the game. He's at first. And Curtis Granderson with a full count. Yankees have scored 2 runs here in the top of the 4th to take a 3-1 lead. Mark Teixeira is on deck. The runners will be off on the pitch. There they go. Base hit down the right side. Nunez is around third. He'll score. Ball is going to second base. Gardner comes in to score the second run. It's a 4-run inning for New York.
Went to the off-speed pitch against Granderson. It looked like he was waiting for it that time. He has been a run producer for the Yankees this season, hitting out of the number 2 spot. Change up down and in, and Granderson rips it into right field. Gardner got a huge lead. 3 and 2 outs going on the first movement of Villanueva, so he scores easily as Granderson picks up a couple more RBIs.
67 now for the Yankee center fielder. Teixeira goes after the first pitch. Patterson makes the catch. The Yankees are finally retired, but they score 4 runs on 5 hits, including a sac fly. Adam Lind will start things up. Edwin Encarnacion has doubled, and Travis Snyder has an RBI. Last year was a disappointing season by his standards. 2009 a great season, but if you look to where Adam Lind is on this date and compared to the last 3 seasons, he is right where he should be.
Back to where he should be. He's a 300 hitter, and he's also a run producer. 16 home runs, 52 RBIs, and a 304 average. And one other thing on this date, it's his birthday today.
Yep.
Happy birthday. He's 28 years old today.
But he has really worked hard to recapture that stroke, and it goes back into the off season. He went back to the coach that coached him in his high school days and got him to stand a little bit more upright. He laid off the weights quite as dramatically, and he skies this one to left field. One out here in the bottom of the 4th. Also on this date with Yankee connections, the great Joe DiMaggio's hit streak in 1941 came to an end at 56 games.
That happened in Cleveland. A couple of great plays by third baseman Kenny Keltner, taking away hits from Joe DiMaggio. In those 56 games, Buck, he only struck out 5 times. Amazing.
Yeah, that was such a black mark against hitters at that time. A strikeout was really unacceptable. And for his career, Joe DiMaggio hit more home runs than he had strikeouts for his career.
I could do that in the backyard with the wiffle ball. I don't think I could do it in big leagues. Well, I know I couldn't do it.
Well, to give you an idea just how things have changed, Adam Dunn is hitting 159 for the Chicago White Sox. And in his last 47 games, he has 76 strikeouts.
That was unacceptable back in the day.
He's got 4 times as many strikeouts during that stretch as he does hits.
Do you trade home runs for strikeouts?
Not if you're not hitting home runs.
Yeah, you're not worth anything if you're not hitting them.
And boy, what a struggle it has been for Adam Dunn.
How about that? It just stops, rallies.
One other qualified batter batted below 190 in the live ball era.
In the live ball area is 1920?
Yeah.
On or 1900 on?
Rob Deere hit 179. So yeah, it's been an ugly start to Adam Dunn's White Sox career.
Deere and Dunn are the same type of players. Big, strong home run hitters, but you got to take the strikeouts with it.
But Dunn's not hitting any home runs. I mean, he is good for 40 home runs, and that's what the White Sox were counting on.
Right.
And had he gotten off to a normal season, Chicago might not be 4 games back. Cleveland maintains a 1-game lead over the Tigers in the AL Central. Detroit 4 games over. Tigers have lost 2. Chicago has 1, 2. Minnesota still make a run at this thing?
Yeah, no.
That ball is going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Encarnacion touches second. He's headed for third. He's being waved home, and the ball bounced out of play. Blue Jays again lose a run to a ground rule double. Well, how about Travis Snyder? His second hit of the afternoon. That cost him an RBI, as Encarnacion will have to go back.
And it's another double for Travis Snyder. That's what I like. His ability to hit the ball where it's pitched. Last time a high fastball, he hit into left field. This time he waits on a breaking ball and drives it on one hop over the fence in center field, 400 feet away. Encarnacion was going to score. This ball stays in the ballpark. He scores easily, and then realizes that it's a ground rule double.
We keep a lot of stats, but I'd like to see the number of runs that ground rule has cost the Blue Jays. There's a drive to right field. Swisher backing up. Fighting the sun, makes the catch, tagging at third. Encarnacion. Snyder tagged as well. He moves to third, and Hill picks up the sac fly.
He'll pick up the RBI. But he also got the runner at second base over to third base with less than. As this ball is hit to right field, he shields his eye, and makes the catch. Excuse me, with 2 outs now, the runner moves over to third base. And can score on the wild pitch as Hill picks up his 37th RBI.
J.P. Arencibia goes after the first pitch. It's a 5-2 game now. A couple of good fastballs from Phil Hughes. Three-pitch strikeout. A good fastball from Hughes. His 4th strikeout of the afternoon. The Blue Jays cut into the Yankee lead. It's 5-2 after 4. Now it's time for a Jays Connected update. Here's Jamie. Out helping the Lady Jays at the annual food drive. This is the second of 2 days where the Jays wives will get together and try to help out the local food banks, and also a lot of volunteers chipping in and enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TV comfort zone of volunteers from the Lady Jays food drive. Well done. Appreciate the effort. It's certainly a great cause, and the Blue Jays had a lot of support over the last 2 days during their annual food drive. Blue Jays have cut into the Yankee lead. It's a 5-2 game. Robinson Cano. Blue Jays have a pretty good idea. If they can get the ball inside of Robinson Cano, they can have some success. But there's a very narrow window of opportunity in that inside part of the plate.
Yeah, maybe up around his hands, but he still has that ability to inside out the ball. And that's what we were talking about his last time up. His ability to take the ball the other way, flip it to left field for a hit. And if you do miss, he can pound it to right field. We all knew that there was some power in there. Watching him in the home run hitting contest, that was pretty special. His ability to turn on the ball.
Well, he was hitting against his dad, and we all hit well against our fathers. Jose Cano actually played professional baseball, got a cup of coffee in the big leagues. He was pitching to Robinson. We talk about the Blue Jays handling Robbie Cano. He's got a .266 career average against the Blue Jays compared to a .309 major league career average. So they do a pretty good job of neutralizing the impact of this great hitter. Two balls and 2 strikes. Cano leading off the 5th for New York. Saves extra bases for Carlos Villanueva.
Good hitters can handle all types of pitches. This is an off-speed pitch, a breaking ball. He stays back and then unleashes on it, but good positioning by Lynn. Reaction and snares that line drive. That would have been 2 at least for Cano.
One down here in the 5th. The red hot Nick Swisher. Couple of hits. He's driven in 1 and scored 1. Robbie Cano hit it too hard. First pitch changeup. Two off-speed pitches, and Swisher's in a hole, and he's going to talk things over with Jerry Davis. He doesn't think that was a strike. Felt the breaking ball was too high, and he's still adamant about that last pitch.
Well, you can tell from the pitch tracks that it catches the corner.
Tried to get him to chase that high fastball. And Seavey taking a long time to get to the right pitch. Well, it's high cutter.
He has so many different weapons that Villanueva has out there. Yeah, pitchers and catchers will go over the scouting report and decide before the game how they're going to pitch him. What Villanueva does so well is he adjusts during the game, and he sees the type of swings that the batter has on him, and he has the ability to adjust.
Pretty close to the same pitch that was a strike earlier in the at-bat. Or maybe Swisher got one here. Take a look where it is compared to that pitch number 2 outside, a little further away. Full count, 1 out. Goes after it, and how about Villanueva? Going right back to that same spot. A high breaking ball up and away, and he strikes out Swisher.
A hot hitter, Nick Swisher. You said it yourself. He has been on everything this afternoon, but Villanueva, with the adjustments making, he can have that ability to watch the batter swing at his pitches and gauge if they're on it or not. That time he just kept pumping that curveball at Swisher.
And not every pitcher can do that. You have to see where the bat is in relationship to the baseball when it passes that hitting zone.
You can get a lot of help from your catcher because he's right there and he can get a feel for it. Pitchers that are max effort, where they give everything into it and they're falling off the mound, those are the type of pitchers who can't read bats. But Villanueva is not like that.
Pop up. Encarnacion into foul ground. Makes the play. Good inning for Carlos Villanueva. Exactly what the Blue Jays needed. He put up a 0. Had a good day at the plate, but now he is 2 for 3, and after that strikeout, he came back in to plead his case with the manager.
Yeah, you got to go to the manager and tell him, okay, this is what I said to him, and this is what the umpire said to me.
Joe Girardi didn't necessarily seem to be moved by what he heard from Swisher. Corey Patterson bunts it to third. Easy play for Ramiro Pena. Went a little bit too hard, and Pena was creeping in as Patterson squared around. 1 out. They're in the 5th inning. Phil Hughes making the start for the New York Yankees, and as we mentioned, he made 3 starts at the beginning of the season. His velocity was down, and he got hit around to the tune of 16 earned runs in 10 1/3. They disabled him. They tried to get to the bottom of the problem that has robbed him of velocity. Went down and rebuilt his strength, and this is his 2nd start since rejoining the Yankees.
Through 5 innings his last time out.
Wow. Ramiro Pena robs Rajai Davis with a stab of that line drive.
That ball was on him. He's got to respect the bunt of Davis, and that one just throw the glove up and finds the webbing. Wow, that is right on top of him.
That's why they call it the hot corner, because you are not far away from the hitter, even with the bag 90 feet away at third.
On a day game today where it's glare. And those white shirts behind you. I bet he comes in and says, I didn't see it.
Eric Thames has struck out a couple of times this afternoon. He's behind Phil Hughes again. Hughes got him with a curveball looking the first time and a fastball down and in the second time that Thames swung right over the top of. 3 times. Eric Thames has gone down. Phil Hughes strikes him out. Just 6 pitches in the 5th, and the Blue Jays are retired. Harrison, Phil Hughes, and Carlos Villanueva. 5 innings. Villanueva has been touched up for 8 hits. The Yankees have gotten to him.
Yeah, he has the 5 strikeouts for Villanueva. He had coming off a career high in strikeouts with 7. A lot of pitches early in this game for Villanueva, so they have jumped that up to 86. And right now, you watch the bullpen. They are out from underneath their shade out there. They're getting ready as Villanueva starts the 6th inning.
Russell Martin and an RBI double in the 4th inning. Goes after the first pitch, and Encarnacion knocks it down, stays with it. And Lynn does a good job of keeping his foot on the bag to retire Russell Martin.
Talk about the hot corner. Even when you come in, Encarnacion playing close because Martin has been known to bunt. Ball right off the seam. He knocked down by Encarnacion, stays right with it. I've heard third basemen say they had a good year when their chest is all beat up, just trying to keep it in front of them.
Knock it down, throw him out. 1 out. Nunez takes a strike, the shortstop. He is 1 for 2. He bunted that ball as he saw Encarnacion back up at third and got a breaking ball to bunt and bunted it foul. Now Encarnacion can get deep at third with 2 strikes. To his credit, Edwin Encarnacion continued to work out at third alongside Jose Bautista when he didn't have many opportunities to play. And because of that, he's kept his skills sharp. Had a great game here 2 nights ago. But it would have been easy for him to say, well, I'm not going to play much, so I'm not going to take many ground balls.
Yeah, I'm going to just DH. And for Encarnacion, he's got to work over at first base because John Farrell's put him over there a couple of times. He's played him at third base. And you're right, to his credit. You just never know about this game, how it can change from day to day. Luis Perez is now getting loose here in the 6th inning as Villanueva is approaching 100 pitches. But this game changes from day to day. No one could foresee that Bautista was going to sprain his ankle and be out of the lineup. So Encarnacion had to stay ready in case something happened.
Upstairs. And no one could foresee Bautista coming back to the infield when he did. There are a lot of changes that you have to deal with. Two balls and two strikes. Inside, full count. Villanueva pitching here in the 6th inning. And that's one thing he's done on a regular basis. He's pitched deep for John Farrell. And that's what a manager wants, that consistent ability to pitch the 6th and 7th inning. Pitch deep. This is popped up and playable. Lind fighting for some. 2 outs.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
You know, the only time that Villanueva has not pitched into the 6th inning since he has taken over as a starter back at the end of May was his first 2 starts. And that was all about building up his arm strength as he came out of the bullpen as a long man and got up to the 100 pitches. His first start was against the Yankees on May the 23rd. He gave him 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, just 1 earned run, then 5 innings his next time out against the White Sox. But since then, he has pitched it into the 6th inning in every one of his starts.
There's a strike, a ball, and a strike. We are in the top of the 6th inning. Yankees leading 5-2. It's popped out of play. Another good crowd here at Rogers Center here this afternoon. 36,586. A 4-game total of 153,000. Very strong turnout. And the Blue Jays would like to be able to win here this afternoon and win the series.
Good to see. Good to see all the fans come out to watch this young team.
And Carlos Villanueva has a 1-2-3 6th inning. Now he'll turn things over to the hitters and see if they can't get in this ball game. Lead in the AL Central, and the Orioles are having a miserable time of it. They are 18.5 back in the AL East.
Worst record in the American League, and Cleveland has a winning record against the East this year.
Yeah, they're no longer considered to be a flash in the pan.
Nope.
Escobar, 1 for 2, and he was out on a close play at first base. He failed to step on the bag. Could have had a second hit. Phil Hughes working into the 6th inning. Curveball bent around the inside corner. Upstairs, 3-0. Blue Jays need base runners.
Get on any way you can. His last start was against the Cleveland Indians, where he threw 5 innings and ended up losing that game. Gave up 6 hits and a couple of runs. And Joe Girardi, after the game, was happy with the way he threw, but felt that he could do better. And you're right, they are going to lean on him, so he's going to have to pitch better than he did his last time out.
There were 87 pitches in that 5-inning outing, and Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, made a call down to the bullpen. And they're starting to stir and come down off their perch in right field. Haven't seen David Robertson in this series, and he certainly is an integral part of winning ball games for the New York Yankees. Robertson made his all-star appearance. Adam Lind has 0 for 2 so far against Phil Hughes. Only a 3-run game. Blue Jays held to just 4 hits. Again, we remind you the Blue Jays have not homered in 3 straight. This is the 4th game they've played without getting a home run, and that's been an important part of their attack, although it's not the sole element to their offense.
It's not the do-all, end-all for it, because they can create runs now different ways. They hit doubles, they steal bases.
There's a drive to right field, but that's going to hang up. Swisher, battling the sun, will make the catch. Lind is retired. The Seattle Mariners will come to the Rogers Center starting on Tuesday night, a 3-game series. 2 night games and a day game. Ichiro Suzuki, great pitcher. Michael Pineda, fresh off the All-Star appearance. Felix Hernandez also with the Mariners, and the Blue Jays will take them on for a 3-game set. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to bluejays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Encarnacion goes after the first pitch. Robinson Cano, the second baseman, makes the catch. After the leadoff walk, 2 quick outs.
One more note on that Seattle series. If you can come down here and watch Michael Pineda, he's going to throw the first game in that series. Both of us were blown away when we watched him out in Seattle. I mean, he's big, he's intimidating, he throws strikes. I know it wasn't real fun for the Blue Jay batters, but it was certainly fun to watch him operate.
We saw him on April 12th in Seattle. He went 7 1/3, gave up just 5 hits, walked 2, and struck out 7. And to say he's big is an understatement. John Farrell was talking about meeting Pineda at the All-Star game, and he's like, I couldn't believe how big and how wide he is. 22 years old, he's 6'7", weighs about 255.
And can throw.
He will open up the series on Tuesday night against Brett Cecil. Also, the scheduled pitchers, Jason Vargas, Doug Fister. And on the hand should be an easy play for Swisher, and Snyder's retired. The leadoff walk, but nothing else. Phil Hughes, even with the walk, threw just 9 pitches. goes 6 innings, allows 8 hits, gives up 5 earned runs, and the Yankees really elevated his pitch count early in this ballgame.
Yeah, they certainly did. They only had 2 bad innings if you break it down. That first inning faced a lot of batters, faced 7 of them in the first inning, gave up just the 1 run in the 4th inning. He faced 8 batters, gave up 4 runs and 5 hits, but in between, he had 3 up and 3 down innings. The other ones retired the last 7 batters he faced. So he will be replaced by Luis Perez, and we've seen him a few times already in this series. Perez pitched yesterday just 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit against the Yankees. There are his numbers, excellent in 23 games.
Perez is making his 3rd appearance of the series. He is in with Brett Gardner leading things off. A couple of left-handed batters to start the 7th. Gardner and then Curtis Granderson and the switch hitter Mark Teixeira. Gardner with a couple of hits today has boosted his average by 4 points. First pitch strike. Gardner thought it was upstairs. He backed out as if he expected it to be a ball. Brett Gardner has always been a problem for Blue Jays pitchers. He's got speed to take advantage of the artificial surface here at Rogers Center. He had an infield hit to the first baseman when he just beat the pitcher to the bag.
And what you can't do as a fielder, you can't take your time. You can't have that split-second bobble if you are one of the infielders. He's going to beat it out. Everybody's got to shorten up on the infield.
Off the glove. Perez going to have to hurry. And it's another infield hit.
You know, if you don't field it cleanly the first time, you really have no chance to get them. Perez had a couple of shots at it. It looked like he hit a changeup back to him. Watch the reaction from Perez. He tries to duck out of the way, then tries to catch it, and then catches his spike as he went to go catch it to throw it over to first base.
Yeah, he's very fortunate he didn't twist an ankle here. Watch how he rolls over once he plants that left foot. That was nasty, and he's fortunate that he didn't sprain an ankle.
Thinks it's hit harder, and then it's like a changeup to him. And there's the plant foot that rolls on him. And it'll go as another infield hit for Brett Gardner.
Gardner has 3 hits this afternoon. 3 for 4 with a line out to the shortstop. Check swing foul by Granderson. We told you that Gardner loves hitting in this ballpark. With the 3 hits today, he's hitting .390 for his career here at Rogers Center.
Wonder if he's ever going to be available because if you can't get him out, you might as well trade for him. He's good looking player.
He's a good offensive player, obviously, with his speed, but he's also an exceptional defensive player.
The last 2 years, he has had 14 outfield assists from left field. Only Alex Gordon and Delman Young have more for left fielders in the American League, so you're right.
And he plays in a big left field at home in Yankee Stadium. A lot of room to cover. Oftentimes he's playing very deep in left field because of the spacious outfield. He's a good player. Took him a while to become an everyday player here with the Yankees because they always had so much talent. Ground ball. Hill bobbles it and robs him of an opportunity for 2. He just couldn't come out of his glove cleanly with it. That was a sharply hit ball right at the second baseman, and the bobble robbed Escobar any chance to make a throw to first.
Right at the second baseman and right there as they tries to transfer. just can't get the ball out of his glove, and they can only get one. Granderson runs too well, and again, that's what speed does. You have that momentary lapse in your defense. Just a little bit of a bobble, and that's all it takes.
So that brings Mark Teixeira to the plate with the man on. And the speed differential is about the same. Brett Gardner, Curtis Granderson, both base-stealing threats. Yankees lead 5-2, trying to even the series. Blue Jays won the first two of this series as they beat up on Bartolo Colon and Freddie Garcia. CC Sabathia won his 14th of the season yesterday.
Yankees have it tough coming out of the All-Star break. 4 games here in Toronto on the turf. They go down to Tampa to play 4 games against that team. Tampa has 50 wins this year, and they're in 3rd place. 4 more games on the turf.
And they're going to see Alex Cobb in the opener, and then Jeremy Hellickson, David Price, and James Shields. So they're going to get the best that Tampa Bay has to offer. A.J. Burnett will open it up for the Yankees, followed by Colon, Garcia, and Sabathia. A.J. Burnett with an 8-7 record. Very good ERA at .415. He's thrown the ball well. And with Phil Hughes having a good outing here this afternoon, the Yankees will feel a little bit better about their second half prospects. Mark Teixeira up the middle underneath the glove of Escobar. Granderson goes first to third. Teixeira gets his 3rd hit in the series. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Cardinals and Reds are always going to create fireworks, whether it's between the teams, the managers, or the umpires and the players, but they have played some contentious games over the course of this summer.
You know, and it's going to just get hotter and hotter in that National League Central. When you talk about the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Pirates, and the Reds, 4 teams separated by 4 games.
And we are now just 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. And the more bunched up the divisions get, the more trade talks you're going to hear about. Yankees have been linked to Ubaldo Jimenez and the Colorado Rockies with their starting pitching concerns. Cano drives it deep to right. Patterson on the warning track. Granderson tagging at 3rd, and they'll get that insurance run because the Blue Jays couldn't turn a double play. Granderson hit what looked to be a routine double play ball to second. Aaron Hill bobbled it. They couldn't turn 2. And then Granderson went first to 3rd on Teixeira's base hit and scores on Cano's sac fly.
And Cano says thank you very much. They jam him with a fastball, but you can see how quick he is with his hand, how he's able to pull him inside and get the barrel of the bat on the ball and drive it to the warning track in right field as Cano drives in the run.
Cano with 58 ribbies now. The Yankees have expanded their lead to 4 runs. Nick Swisher for the last month has really come on with the bat. Average up to 256 after a very slow start. But he's hit over 330 since the 14th of June. And that's what the Yankees are all about, second half baseball. Thinking about getting into the postseason. And you mentioned a tough road trip. 2 4-game series on artificial turf.
For an older team, that can really wear on you. So Girardi is doing the right thing. He gave Derek Jeter today off. He got Granderson a half a day off as the DH yesterday. Mark Teixeira DHing. He's got to use all of his players. and keep them fresh.
After the Tampa Bay series, the Yankees will be home for a 10-game homestand. This ball is lifted to right. Routine play for Corey Patterson. Swisher's retired. But the Yankees tack on an extra run. Sac fly by Robinson Cano. And gets congratulations from his manager and his teammates, and he had a good outing here this afternoon against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, goes 6 innings, 4 hits, a couple of earned runs, and 80 pitches. Remember, he has had that arm problem. They're building up his arm strength as we speak. Missed 3 months when he was on the disabled list with a tired arm. So Hughes in line for his first win. They will go to the bullpen and pull out Corey Wade. We saw Corey Wade the other day. His 10th appearance for the Yankees this season, threw a couple of innings here, a walk and 4 strikeouts for Wade in that game against the Blue Jays on Friday. So with that extra run that the Yankees got in the top of the inning, now just trying to figure out how to get into the 9th inning, and they'll start with Wade.
Aaron Hill will start things off. He has a sac fly here this afternoon. He drove in one of the 2 Blue Jays runs. Ball and a strike. You can see Corey Wade's got a little bit of a crossfire delivery. Makes it difficult for right-handers when you get that ball down and away. And as Pat mentioned, we saw Wade pitch here 2 nights ago, and he pitched very well. Went 2 innings and had 3 strikeouts. Corey Wade started out initially with the Dodgers. He started his pro career in 2004. Then he went to Tampa Bay for a short time. And now the Yankees, desperate for depth in their bullpen, have added him to the roster, and he's held his own.
Came into the season with 82 games of major league experience, mostly out of the bullpen for the big league team. 28 years old. They signed him as a free agent last November. It seemed like they signed a lot of veteran pitchers last winter.
Well, that's the benefit of having such deep pockets. You can roll the dice on a Bartolo Colon. You can bring Mark Pryor into camp. You can bring Freddie Garcia into camp. And, you know, the Yankees always have 2 or 3 different pitching platoons. And there are pitchers everywhere at the start of spring training. And some you go, well, how did he get here? Saw Mark Pryor start out the season competing for a job on this roster. And you bring in Freddie Garcia after spending most of his career with the Mariners and then bounced around from Philadelphia to Chicago. But the Yankees, because they can afford to bring in those players, and they'll sign him to $1 million contracts. Nick Swisher comes in and makes the catch, first out of the 7th.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
So there's one out. J.P. Arencibia's had a rough day at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. First pitch strike with a slow curveball. The changeup. And Corey Wade has a wide assortment of pitches.
Throwing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Eric Thames has struck out 3 times today. Arencibia a couple of times, and those have been the only guys who have done that against Phil Hughes. Everybody else has put the ball in play.
Arencibia held up on the breaking ball. Angel Hernandez backing that up. Corey Wade is now 28 years old. And we mentioned the Yankees have lost many key pitchers out of their bullpen, including Java Chamberlain. Another changeup. Arencibia strikes out for a 3rd time. Been a tale of 2 stories in this 4-game series. The first 2 games, the Blue Jays pounded out 31 hits, and that led them to 23 runs. But CC Sabathia turned things around here on Saturday afternoon.
Crisp, you can see the numbers. We talk about it all the time. When you can hit with runners in scoring position, you can score a lot of runs. So far in games 3 and 4 in this series, just 2 for 12. But I think the pitching of Sabathia yesterday and then Phil Hughes today have been the difference so far between the first 2 and the last 2 games in this series.
Wayne Murphy, of course, doesn't have the benefit of the major league leading home run hitter Jose Bautista. He's been out since spraining his ankle on Thursday. I don't care how long that you have to overcome the loss of a great hitter, it's going to have an impact.
Yeah.
A couple days, 3 weeks, and there's no time frame just yet, but we're hopeful that Bautista will be able to return to action on Tuesday night. Having a bat in that lineup, that gives you a lot of confidence as a hitter. On your team, you know, well, we get Bautista up with a couple on, one swing of the bat, and we're right back in the game.
It's happened a couple of times today. As they have kept it close, Adam Lynn came up with a chance if they popped one out of the ballpark. They would have been right back in the game. They haven't homered in their last 3 games.
This is the 4th.
This is the 4th. And Bautista got hurt on Thursday.
Another fly ball to right. Swisher's been busy. Easy inning for Corey Wade coming out of the bullpen. We've played 7 complete here at Rogers Center. The Yankees have a 4-run lead. across the network, Rogers Sportsnet, will have the Dodgers at Diamondbacks. The former Blue Jay Ted Lilly will go to the mound for L.A. against Daniel Hudson. Hudson's 9-5, and what a pickup the Diamondbacks made when they traded for Daniel Hudson from the Chicago White Sox. But a lot of baseball action to continue here on this great Sunday afternoon. Luis Perez set to work his second inning. See a lot of fans enjoying a hot summer day here at Rogers Center. And it's been a great weekend for baseball. 150,000 for the 4-game Yankee series. Jorge Posada. Posada starting at first base. His 5th start of the season at first. Big bouncing ball to third. Conachon has a lot of time and throws out Posada.
John Farrell out to the mound. He wanted to turn around Jorge Posada and let him hit from the right side. So he is going to play percentages now. He wants to keep this a 4-run game, so he has already made the move to the bullpen. Octavio Dotel was warming up. Luis Perez's afternoon is finished. An inning and a third.
Octavio Dotel will come out of the bullpen to work the 8th inning with 1 out. It's a 6-4 Yankee lead. Dotel's thrown the ball great of late. Been throwing the ball very well of late.
Yeah, he certainly has. He mixes a good fastball and a good slider in there, throwing lots of strikes. Hasn't allowed a run over his last 8 2/3 innings coming out of the bullpen. And John Farrell has used him for a couple of batters here, a couple of batters there.
He's matching him up very well against right-handed hitters. And that's what he's got right now. He's got Russell Martin and Eduardo Nunez.
That one got away up and in to Russell Martin. Got a couple of right-handers coming up, so playing the percentages. Keep this a 4-run game.
Popped up over near the Yankees dugout and back into the seats. But I think that's the one thing John has done very well with this bullpen is he's put pitchers in positions to have success. He's matched them up very well, and you can do that when you have 2 left-handers. Luis Perez and Mark Zepchinski have given John Farrell that great option.
He might have a few more options the next time we gather here on Tuesday.
There's a fly ball. Davis backs up a few steps. Martin's retired. There are 2 outs. The bullpen's got a chance to get even a little bit deeper with the anticipated return of Casey Jansen. He is scheduled to pitch again today for a 2nd day in a row. He's thrown the ball very well in Double-A.
Before he got hurt, one could argue that he was the best reliever for John Farrell's team. The way he was throwing, he was coming in and he's throwing strikes, wasn't walking anybody. And this is the time of the year, we talked about it in the next 2 weeks before the trade deadline, that teams are looking to fortify their bullpens. People who think that they are in contention, they go out and get veteran relievers.
Well, Milwaukee just picked up Francisco Rodriguez from the New York Mets, and they already have the Canadian John Axford as a closer. St. Louis Cardinals are rumored to be interested in some of the Blue Jays relievers. Cardinals have had a terrible run with their bullpen this year. And of course, the Blue Jays swept St. Louis during interleague play.
And they got to see every one of those relievers. Andrew Bailey's name has been thrown out the last couple of days.
Andrew Bailey of the Oakland Athletics has been evidently the target of the Texas Rangers, which should be kind of interesting since they both come from the AL West. And the Rangers have Neftali Feliz, but if they could pick up Andrew Bailey, who's very young, he's had some arm problems. But maybe if they get Bailey, use him to pitch in the setup role this year and the closer's role next year.
They miss Ogando.
Yeah.
Ogando was that setup man last year for the Texas Rangers.
Well, and Ogando is turned into a pretty good starter, but they might want to do the same thing with Feliz next year to give them another good young power arm starter. But there are a lot of things going around. A lot of clubs have scouts all over the baseball world looking at trade possibilities. It's a fun time of the year.
Well, there's so many options because so many teams are in it. You've got Boston, New York, Tampa separated by 6 games in the AL East. Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota separated by 6 games in the Central. Texas and LA just 3 games between those two in the West.
Hotel does exactly what he was called upon to do. He gets the 2 right-handers, a 1-2-3 8th inning. Now it's time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. But they'll be back in action Tuesday night. We'll be here for the opener of the Seattle Mariners Blue Jays series. It's on Rogers Sportsnet. The action begins at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the pregame show with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Jays on Sportsnet. Good pitching matchup to start that opener. It'll be Brett Cease, the left-hander, against big Michael Pineda, the All-Star. And he will open up that 3-game set. Seattle is scheduled to send Pineda, Jason Vargas, and Doug Fister to the mound.
Defensive changes for the Yankees. Nick Swisher has come in from right field, and he's taken over at first base for Jorge Posada. In the batting order, slide Chris Dickerson in Posada's position. He will take over in right field for the Yankees. And on the mound, the All-Star, David Robertson, in his 8th inning role, and what a job he has done this year. take a look at some of these numbers that Robertson has put up this year. He's got a good hard cut fastball a la Mariano Rivera. 1.27 earned run average, 38 games, 35 innings, just 25 hits and 56 strikeouts for Robertson. He's got a great arm. He also has a very good curveball.
A good hard curveball that comes out of his hand the same angle as the fastball. Made his first All-Star team. Here there with the top third of the order. Rajai Davis. Davis was robbed of a base hit on a line drive in the fifth. Hit it right to the third baseman, Romero Pena. Blue Jays are down by 4. There's that hard curveball. Russell Martin thought it was a good pitch, but it's a ball and a strike. Robertson's been able to stay healthy and delivers some very key innings.
There's that hard cut fastball, 93 miles an hour that he'll use to both righties and lefties. It's got late break to it. That earned run average is the 4th lowest among major league relievers. 2nd lowest among the AL relievers. Only Joe Smith has a better earned run average out of the bullpen than David Robertson.
Bounce towards second. Cano has a big hop. One out here in the 8th.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Eric Thames will stand in. Thames has had a tough afternoon. 3 strikeouts. Bill Hughes got him on an assortment of pitches. Caught looking at a curveball the first time up. Swung at a fastball his second time, and a high breaking ball struck him out in the 5th. Thames and Aaron Sebia, the only 2 Blue Jays to strike out here this afternoon, but they both each have struck out 3 times.
5 times swinging against some strikeout pitchers.
Big bouncing ball. Swisher backs up and shovels it to Robertson. 2 quick outs.
You know, the Yankee plan coming into this year, we talked about them, all the players that they have signed for their bullpen, was Jabba Chamberlain was going to throw the 7th, Rafael Soriano the 8th, and then Mariano Rivera the 9th. Robertson was going to fill in here and there, making Joe Girardi's job a lot simpler. But injuries have really thrown a wrench into those plans, and he's done a good job because they've had this guy right there ready for him. Robertson has really taken over that 8th inning slot that Soriano was supposed to have. Nailed down before he went on the DL.
Kenan Escobar, the shortstop, has been on base twice. A single and a walk. You mentioned the problems in the pen. Pedro Feliciano, Damaso Marte, 2 left-handed pitchers. They've been out all season long. Jason Frazier standing by. Looks like he has completed his warm-up pitches. He's just standing ready. There's a big slow curveball there, and Escobar chased. Frazier is tied with Dwayne Ward for the franchise lead in games pitched. So if he makes an appearance here this afternoon, he'll stand alone. He's had a good run. Dwayne Ward and Jason Frazier have pitched in 452 games. That's tops in the franchise history. Two and 2. Just outside. Boy, Escobar's got a good eye. Takes a lot of close pitches. Very patient. Understands who he is as a hitter now. And we talked about at the start of the show, the Blue Jays coaches have done a nice job with Yunel Escobar.
They're out here every day with him working those fungos to become a good fielder. They're always talking with him. That on-base percentage just keeps going up and up and up. It's almost up to 380 now with the good at-bats that he has put in today. A walk and a single. Wayne Murphy, the hitting coach of the Blue Jays, spends a lot of time with Escobar in the cage also.
This time he strikes out. Robertson does a good job, gets that hard cutter down and away. Robertson has a 1-2-3 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th inning. It'll be a record-setting appearance for Jason Frazier when we come back to Rogers Center.
In the 4th inning, the Yankees would end up scoring 4 runs, 2 of them on this double by Curtis Granderson down into the corner in right field. His 66-67th RBI of the season, the big blow in that 4-run 4th inning.
And Granderson has certainly been an integral part of what the Yankees have done in the last couple of years. And Brett Gardner have had a productive day. Top of the order, Jason Frazier, his 453rd appearance as a Blue Jay.
Great numbers for him. I was talking to him today about this, and you know, he's done it with class. He has done it the right way. He just shows up to work. Lunch pail type of guy, just does his job. He has pitched in different places out in that bullpen. He's been a closer, he's been a setup man, he's been a long man. There are the numbers now. 453 games, the club ranked first all time.
3rd in innings pitched in his 8th season with the Blue Jays. He's 4th in holds and 3rd in strikeouts. And Jason Frazier should be very proud of his accomplishment. Now he stands alone as the all-time games leader in the pitching department.
In honor too. He was saying that today. I'm honored, you know, to be named, you know, in the same breath of a Dwayne Ward or Tom Henke, some of the other players on that list. Dave, Steve, not too shabby for a trade. He came to the Blue Jays right at the end of spring training in 2004 from the Los Angeles Dodgers for Jason Worth.
Guerrero Pena getting the start today at 3rd base. You can see his season average just 83. But he picked up a big RBI in the 4th inning, part of that 4-run Yankee inning. Bounced foul. We mentioned the Yankees will go to Tampa Bay for a 4-game series, and then they'll have an extended homestand that includes an off day. But when they get home next week, they'll take on Oakland, Seattle, off day, and then Baltimore. Pretty soft schedule in that 10-day homestand. But Curtis Granderson and the rest of his Yankee teammates understand this is a tough 8-day road trip.
You're playing on AstroTurf. You're playing a few day games. It's starting to get hot.
Frazier picks up the strikeout. That's the first out of the 9th inning.
A couple of years ago, he developed a split changeup, and it has really helped offset that 93, 94 mile an hour fastball that he has. He can command it. He can control it against the righties and the lefties. That time he uses it to pick up his first strikeout.
One down in the ninth.
Well, that's the thing about pitchers. You talk to other players, you talk to other pitchers, and you constantly make adjustments and make changes to try and better yourself. And that's one thing that Jason Frazier did the last couple of years that really made him a better pitcher.
Yeah, the ability to disrupt the timing of the hitters with that split grip changeup, it's really allowed him to take the next step.
It's always been, for me, a power pitcher when you can throw at 93 or 94 miles an hour. But a lot of the strikeouts don't come from the fastball. They come off of his off-speed pitches.
Frazier is very consistent in his ability to throw that ball 94. There's a good fastball. 2 balls and a strike to Brett Gardner. Three and one. Boy, Gardner's had a good day. 3 hits. He's scored a couple of runs. He's lined out. Has a stolen base. Yankees have a real valuable asset in Brett Gardner. Derek Jeter needs a day off, and they slide him out of that leadoff spot. They just pencil in Brett Gardner.
And eventually, I think that's where he's going to end up, right at the top of that lineup. Sees a lot of pitchers. You mentioned just the things that he has done today. How about this whole series? 4 big games, and Gardner has been in the middle of just about every rally.
He's had 10 hits in the series. He's had 3 3-hit games. And he's had an outfield assist. He's had stolen bases. He's hit 9th, he's hit 8th, and he's hit twice in the leadoff spot.
And he sold some popcorn in between innings and some programs. Doing it all.
And he takes a walk. On base for the 4th time here this afternoon. The Yankees lead 6-2. Blue Jays just 4 hits in the game here this afternoon. They only had 5 yesterday. And after amassing 31 hits in the first 2 games, they just haven't been able to get anything going. CC Sabathia has a way of shutting down anybody.
Good pitching will do that. Doesn't have anything to do with stealing signs or anything like that. It's good pitching.
Phil Hughes did the same thing here this afternoon. He scattered just 4 hits over his 6 innings of work. And does a good job of taking that short throw. Ninth inning, 1 out. Yankees trying to split the 4 games. Pitch out, and Gardner is not going. I mentioned the Yankees trying to close ground on the front-running Boston Red Sox. Yankees are a game and a half behind Boston. For the season, Yankees have won just 1 of 9 games against the Red Sox.
How about CC Sabathia? I don't think we talked about that yesterday, but won 14 games and he's lost 4. 3 of those losses have been to Boston.
Yeah. Boston, he is 0-3 against the Red Sox. 2-0. And Seavey is going to go out and try to get Frazier back into the strike zone. But the Red Sox and the Yankees, they'll play 2 more series in Fenway before the Red Sox come to New York. But Brett Gardner's had a lot to do with the Yankees' success in the last 2 games. Joe Girardi put him in that leadoff spot. Today alone, 5 at-bats, 29 pitches.
See, he is always among the league leaders in seeing pitches. That stolen base percentage is down because he got off to a rough start. 5 for his first 11.
There he goes. Pitch is taken, and Sevilla can't find the handle.
That's 12 in a row now. Stolen by Gardner, his second of the afternoon. He is in first gear after a couple of steps. He's built low to the ground. He's got good quick feet as he picks up his 26th stolen base of the season.
So he's in scoring position. Granderson has a 3-0 count. Taking all the way, it's 3-1. Mark Teixeira is on deck. Teixeira had a single his last time up. Teixeira just 3 hits in the series, compared to Brett Gardner with 10. Full count. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, Lind, Encarnacion, and Travis Snyder, the scheduled hitters for the Blue Jays. Another base hit for Curtis Granderson. Gardner will come around third. There'll be no throw to the plate. And Granderson drives in his 3rd run of the afternoon. Brett Gardner has scored 3 times.
Stolen base pays off once again. His 2nd stolen base, and he's going to come around it. Same type of pitch that Granderson saw earlier today when he doubled into the right field corner for his first 2 RBIs of the afternoon. That time stayed right on it, 3-2. And now the Blue Jays are going to have the shift that they talked about. It's a very unconventional shift.
Third baseman Edwin Encarnacion plays first. Adam Lind will back up and play behind him because Lind is a left-handed thrower, and if he gets a ground ball, it'll be a much easier throw for him to second.
They were only going to use this with Mark Teixeira at the plate and a runner on first base. This is the first time in 4 games that the Blue Jays have been able to use this type of shift against Teixeira.
In a double play situation.
Lind is a little bit better with a left-handed thrower. If there is a ground ball to him, he is facing second base and can make that easier throw.
And if you flip-flop Encarnacion and Lind, the way they're aligned right now, it'd be a much more difficult throw for Encarnacion against his glove side. But Lind basically playing where he would play normally.
And he flows right into the throw to second base.
And ball is driven to left center. Snyder is there. Teixeira's retired. This is something the Blue Jays have planned throughout this series, but it was the first time it occurred, and you can see Brian Butterfield explaining all of the assignments.
So you have runner on first. Eddie, you're there. You're going to go over and play first. Adam Lind, you're at first. You're going to play behind him, and it's just to give their fielders a better chance to make a play in case there is that ground ball by Teixeira. And again, only if there's a runner on first base and Mark Teixeira to play.
The time and effort the coaches put into pregame preparation is unbelievable. Every one of the coaches always has a responsibility, and they're here at 11 o'clock oftentimes for a night game.
Going over tape of the opposition, going over tendencies, charts and stats, who's playing, who's available. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. And then all the work on the field.
Yeah, the regular daily fundamental drills, batting practice, ground balls, throws from the outfield, everything else that you have to do during normal pregame prep. Robinson Cano, the cleanup hitter. Cano more than likely will continue to bat fourth with the absence of Alex Rodriguez, who had knee surgery at the All-Star break. They expect Rodriguez to be out for 4 weeks. But Cano has certainly handled the cleanup spot very effectively.
This is his 40th career game as the 4th hitter in the Yankee lineup, taking over for Alex Rodriguez. He's driven in 34 runs in those 40 games with 8 home runs and a .322 average.
Stayed on that outside fastball. 2-2, 2 outs. Yankees have added an insurance run here in the ninth. They broke it open in a 4-run 4th inning. That came against Carlos Villanueva. Yankees got 5 hits in that inning. They sent 8 men to the plate. Two and two. Cut on and miss. Cano strikes out. Second strikeout of the inning for Jason Frazier, who has become the leading pitcher all time. It'll be Lind, Encarnacion, and Snyder. Blue Jays down by 5. Rogers Sportsnet at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time for Sportsnet Connected. Ken Reed and Ivanka Osmak will bring you up to speed with all the details from the British Open. Also, the great Sunday schedule of baseball action, and you can hear it all right here on Rogers Sportsnet. New pitcher for the Yankees will be the 4th pitcher of the afternoon. Boone Logan, the left-hander, comes on to work the ninth.
The only lefty out of the bullpen now for Joe Girardi's team. 34 games for Boone Logan. They acquired him along with Javier Vasquez from the Atlanta Braves. They got him from Melky Cabrera, Mike Dunn, and a minor league pitcher before the 2010 season. He's a good lefty out of the bullpen. Throws strikes. He's been on a little bit of a hot streak over his last 22 outings, covering 14 innings. He's only given up 4 earned runs. So with a couple of left-handers coming up for the Blue Jays, Girardi goes to his only lefty to try and finish it off.
Adam Lind, Edwin Encarnacion, and another left-hander, Travis Snyder. Well, bat, Blue Jays down by 5. They have managed just 4 hits this afternoon. Adam Lind has seen a lot of Boone Logan. He is 0 for 9 and had a pretty good pitch to hit right there.
He throws that crossfire slider to left-handers, especially to Lind, to try and get the strikeouts. Works away. There it is right there. It just sweeps across the outside part of the plate, so he's going to have to stay on it.
The Yankees were hopeful they'd have a couple of left-handers down in that bullpen, maybe 3 at one point. They signed Pedro Feliciano in the offseason. He's missed the whole season, as has Damaso Marte.
Well, one thing that the Yankees have tried to do over the years when they went out and got those left-handers, they wanted strikeout pitchers. And Feliciano certainly was that. He had a couple of great years for the New York Mets before they signed him away as a free agent. Damaso Marte, the same thing. Big left-hander who can come in and get some of those tough left-handed batters out via the strikeout. Logan can do the same thing, but it's got to be a little bit different type of way to get there. He's got to get ahead and then finish him off with a breaking ball.
You could see Lynn shaking his head in frustration, and he hasn't had any success at all against Boone Logan.
Should have hit that one. That might be the last fastball he sees in this at bat.
There's that breaking ball you mentioned, the fastball inside, and he was going to come back with the breaking ball. First out of the ninth. The Yankees, if they can win this game, they're close to within a game of the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox play Tampa Bay tonight. Josh Beckett will go to the mound for Boston. He'll be opposed by Jeff Neiman, the big right-hander for Tampa Bay. It's going to be a dogfight for a while. The Yankees, as we mentioned, just 1-8 against Boston this season.
There are some great pennant races, I think, and this is the time of the year where you start to recognize that and start talking about it.
The NL Central, very interesting race. 4 teams within 4 games of the lead. San Francisco, Arizona. Arizona 3.5 back of the Giants. Colorado has to be disappointed. They are 8.5 back right now. They haven't been able to keep pace with the front runners. Then you look at the AL Central. Minnesota is in 4th place, but they're just 6 games back of the front-running Cleveland Indians.
They have won 7 out of their last 10. They get within 6 games of Cleveland.
And they got Joe Nathan back last night. Nathan picked up the save against Kansas City. His first save since April. 0-2, 1 out. Outside.
You were asking me earlier if they're a player. And luckily somebody hit the ball and the inning was over and I didn't have to answer it. I don't know. I mean, every time you write off the Minnesota Twins, they seem to come back and make a run. So I'm going to say yes, they are still in the equation and they're still part of it.
They certainly play it the right way. Down and in, 2-2. Then you look at the Chicago White Sox, and we mentioned the troubles Adam Dunn has had. Jake Peavy doesn't look like he's going to really have an impact with the White Sox. He can't stay healthy. He hasn't been able to be the dominant pitcher he was with the Padres. Tigers are an interesting team. We mentioned the possibility the Tigers are rumored to be interested in Derek Lowe, which would be a nice complement to some of those hard throwers.
I think that would be a perfect marriage, I think, for Derek Lowe. They've got an overabundance of starters in Atlanta. Atlanta and Detroit have been known for a couple of years of making trades like this, where players go from Atlanta to Detroit to help them win. And Lowe in that ballpark, in Comerica Park, where it's real mushy around home plate, he's a ground ball sinker type pitcher. I think it would be perfect.
2-2 to Encarnacion. Full count. Of the Braves, we saw Mike Minor and Brandon Beachy, 2 young pitchers. Minor left-hander, Beachy a right-hander, so they certainly have the depth to make a move like that. And the Braves are just 3.5 back of the Phillies. Everybody keeps saying, boy, what a year the Phillies are having. The Braves are right on their heels.
Right on their heels because they can match them with their pitchers. They don't get the notoriety.
Carnacion strikes out. Blue Jays down to their final out. Another positive piece of news from AA New Hampshire. Casey Jansen with another scoreless inning of work. That's back-to-back outings for Casey Jansen, and we would assume that we'll probably see Casey Jansen here on Tuesday night.
And that's 5 innings of minor league work on his rehab, 5 scoreless innings, and I'm sure they're going to get together after this game, the Blue Jays, and talk about a roster move to get him back up here.
Travis Snyder sends one into the seats. That's that nasty breaking ball that creates so many problems for left-handed hitters. When Logan gets that pitch down and away, starts it on the outside corner. You can't get to it.
Well, he'll be a big part, I think, of what the Yankees do from here on out, being the only left-hander right now for the Yankees in their bullpen. When you start talking about the left-handed bats in the American League East, Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford come to mind. So Logan's going to be important.
And Logan comes out of the bullpen and strikes out the side to punctuate this win for New York. They split the 4 games here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays lose it 7-2. Now it's time for a Jays Connected update. Here is Jamie Campbell along with Greg Zahn. We'll see you Tuesday night.